to Merriam's Online Academy. In today's tutorial, we will be learning an intermediate to an advanced arrangement of Apologize by OneRepublic. Personally, I really love playing this arrangement, and I think you will as well. To purchase a copy of the sheet music I'm using today, follow the link in the description below. In today's video, we will be working through one section at a time, first at half speed and then at full speed, to help you learn the song. All right, so let's start with the intro of Apologize. I'm just going to play the first 4 bars for you so you know how that goes. So one of the most important things when you first start a song is to take a look at the key signature. So we have 3 flats in this key signature, B flat, E flat, and A flat. You want to keep an eye on for those all the way through the piece. And the second thing we want to do is figure out the chords. There's 4 chords in this piece and they go through the entire song. So if you get those figured out in the intro, it will make learning the rest of the piece a whole lot easier. In the very first bar, we have a C minor triad. So our bass note is C. And in the right hand, I'm just going to play all 3 notes, even though it's a broken pattern. I'm just going to show you all 3 that you use for the full bar. So we have a G, a C, and an E flat. So all together, that makes a C minor triad, all right? And then you outline it in a little bit of a broken pattern, like this. But it's the same notes over and over. In the second bar, we have a little bit more of a complicated chord. We have an F minor 9, but the bass note is A flat. So we put a slash there and then draw the A flat to show that the bass note is a little bit different. So we have A flat here in the bass. And how I got the F minor 9, I've got the F at the top, I've got the C, and then we have a G. So if you have an octave, F to F, and go up to a G, we consider that to be a 9th. So that's where this G has come from, and that makes this chord into an F minor 9 chord. So once again, you take those same notes over and over in the right hand, just mix up the pattern, and that's how you play that bar. The third bar, we have just a straight ahead E flat triad. So the left hand note is an E flat. In the right hand, we have an E flat, a B flat, and a G. Pretty straightforward. So again, you just mix up the notes to play that, and you've got that bar down. In the fourth bar, we have a G minor 7, but the bass note, again, is a D. So down here, we've got a D, but in the right hand, we've got an F, a B flat, and a G. So to see that full chord, if I took the D up here, there's our G minor 7. So once again, just mix up the notes slightly, and you get that pattern. So a practice tip that I have for a chord pattern like this is just to play all of the chords solid at first, to get really comfortable with the fingering and how all of those notes feel together. So the C minor, like this, the F minor 9 with the A flat in the bass, E flat, and then your G minor 7 with the D bass. Once you're comfortable with that, try it really, really slowly. Once you've got that down, feel free to speed it up, and it'll sound like this. And now let's go into the verse number 1. So I'm going to talk first about the first 8 bars of the first verse. So I'm going to stop here. And one of the first things, one of the first things that I want to point out is that the left-hand pattern stays exactly the same. So if you notice here, we have a C, A flat, E flat, D. And then repeat that again. C, A flat, E flat, D. It's the exact same bass notes as we had in the intro. The right hand, is a pretty straight ahead rhythm pattern. I think you can figure it out if you're familiar with counting and rhythms, because it's just eighth notes and quarter notes, so it's pretty straightforward. But one of the challenges is the fingering. This arrangement has the melody on the top and often a chord underneath, like this. Sorry, let me do that again. Often this has a melody on the top and a chord underneath. So you've got this. Now, one of the challenges with that is that you've got to switch your hand so that you're ready for the next chord. So notice here that they've got a finger 5, and right here they've got a finger 4. That's really important if you get to get a smooth transition between those chords so it doesn't sound too choppy. So you want to have switch to 5, switch 4, and then the next pattern is a steal right from the opening, the last 2 chords. Now we have the exact same pattern, exact repeat, finger 5, finger 4, and then again, steal from the opening, and there's your first 4 bars. So when we get into the second set of 4 bars, we're gonna go here to there. We once again have this exact same left hand pattern, starting with C, A flat, and then here we get our first pop rhythm, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, which is actually our E flat triad, just with the G on the top, 1 and 2 and 3. That dotted quarter eighth note rhythm is fundamental in pop music, and we're going to see it a lot more as we go through the piece. So you want to get familiar with that right at the beginning, and 2 and 3. And then on the next page, we've got it with the D, 1 and 2 and 3. All right. So the right hand is slightly different than what you had at the beginning. So I'm going to start right here so you can see how the right hand goes. Once again, we have those chords under the melody. But right here, it's a bit awkward. And there's no fingering written in, so I'm going to give you a fingering suggestion. I think you should go 2 and 3, and then keep finger 3 here. And I have one other trick for you. When you get to this, do you see these 2 notes right here, F and G? We're going to play both of those with your thumb, okay? Which may seem a little strange at first, but it's a really good trick. So let me start there. 1, finger 2, and then you get all that smooth. Keep finger 3 on the C, and then watch this. So I put my thumb together on the F and the G, makes it really comfortable to play, rather than trying to go like that, which you can see I've done the splits now between my second and third finger. Super awkward. So just sneak your thumb on both notes, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now we're on to the next page. 1 and 2 and 3. And the next 4 bars are an exact repeat of what I just did. So again, we're going to do that 2 and 3 here, and we're going to do that thumb on the F and G there. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and. All right, so let me play that full verse 1 then for you, nice and slowly, so you can get a full picture of the notes. Now let me play it one more time at full speed for you so you can get the full picture of how that will sound when you put it all together. And now we're into the chorus. So the chorus is pretty short the first time around. It just goes from here until here. And what I want to point out in here is, once again, we have these same left-hand chords, or very similar chords to what we had in the introduction, but now we have a full solid chord in our left hand. So starting here, we've actually expanded our C minor into a C minor 7. And we've got that pop rhythm. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then in the next bar we have the F minor, but with the A flat as the bass. 1 and 2 and 3, which you can finger like this, or maybe with 2 and 4, whatever's more comfortable. And then we've got the E flat chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just straight ahead, reposition. Now here we've got it as a B flat chord over D instead of with the G in there. 1 and 2 and 3. And then that exact same pattern repeats again. So once again, if you want to get really familiar with the chords, just play them all solid first. Then add the pop rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Right? So that goes a couple of times. In the right hand, we've moved up the octave a little bit, so it's a higher range than what we had at the beginning. And if you have a little bit of trouble sometimes lining up the pop rhythm with the right hand, which sometimes can be a little bit challenging, one trick that I have is that I draw lines from the melody note, and I might just erase that C minor 7. Let me do this again. So I draw a line from the right hand note to the left hand note to see which ones connect. So we have 1 and 2, like that. Let me show you that one more time. 1, these line up. This just has left hand. 1, just left hand. Same lineup. Slightly different rhythm. And here's how that would sound at full speed if I speed it up. And that's the chorus. So let's move on to this really short little interlude. It just goes for 4 bars, and it repeats all of these exact same chords again that we've had from the introduction, but the difference is that the chords are now in my right hand, and they're solid. So let's start with the right hand by itself here. So we've got that C minor chord, and then the F9, F minor 9. Oh, sorry, I played a wrong note there. And that's the E flat, ending with the B flat chord right there. The left hand here has the straight up pop rhythm. So we're into the full force dotted quarter and 8th note for most of the rest of this piece now. So we have the same chord pattern as far as those bass notes, C, A flat, E flat, D, but now we're going to do them in the full pop rhythm. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2 and 3. And that's how that left hand rhythm goes. So when we put that together, let me do it really, really slowly at first so you can see how those line up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3. And then at full speed, we'll go like this. 1 and 2. There's that short interlude. So the verse number 2 is almost the exact same melody as we had in verse 1 with a few added embellishments. So, for example, when I start my right hand, it has a few extra notes in there. But we're going to keep the exact same fingering patterns that we had because the chords underneath are the same as what you had before. The difference now is we've added this full-on left-hand pop rhythm in here. So if it helps you, I find this helpful to just draw in or match the notes that are going to line up together. So here with the left hand, and then you can get a better sense of how the left hand and the right hand fit. So the left hand is the same C, A flat, E flat, D. So let's try that together really, really slowly so you can see how that fits. You should recognize this chord pattern in the right hand from what we've had before. Exactly the same chords. This next section of the second verse is a little bit longer and it's kind of divided into two sections. So I've drawn one line here and then I have a second one there. And there's a couple of bars that have a little bit more of a challenging rhythm. So the bass notes are all the same. We're keeping this same dotted quarter, eighth note rhythm in the left hand. The melodies are very, very similar to what you've had earlier in the piece. But there's three bars that I'm going to point out. One is here, one is here, and one is here, where the rhythm is a little bit more challenging. So we have this dotted rhythm in the left hand, and the right hand also has a couple of offbeat rhythms. So one thing that I find helpful when you're learning a bar like this is when you write in the counting first of all, and then anything that lines up, you draw the counting in the middle of the staff, and then if there's notes that are by themselves, I write the counting up or down to help me see visually that that's my left hand, that's my right hand, and these ones are together. So I'm going to start right at bar 40 and just show you what I mean. So I'm going to play these hands together and count out loud, and you'll see from my counting that my right hand, my left hand plays. So both hands starts, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let me do that one more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and if you have that little bit of a visual reference there, it's really, really helpful in figuring out that counting. So let me just play those first 4 bars at the top of the page there so you can see how all of that fits together, and then we'll talk about those other couple of bars. And then we're into the last little bit of this chorus. So we have 2 more bars that are a little challenging on the counting. This one right here has 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And let me just erase my star at the beginning so you can see the counting a little bit more clearly. So I'm going to start right on that bar again. We're on the D and the bass and we're up here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let me do that one more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, so let me play that 4-bar section for you so you can see how all of that fits together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 2 and 3 2. And then the last 4 bars of this, I'm going to show you a little bit different counting for this last bar. Let me erase my thing. So in this bar we have all offbeats. So I'm going to write all the main numbers in green, and I'm going to write all of the other numbers, let me just erase this, in red so you can see how this fits. So that's an and, that's an and, that's an and that's an and. So for this last bar, we're gonna have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So every single note lands on an and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let's try the last 4 bars of the second verse, and then we'll get into the final chorus. So here we go. I'm gonna start right here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And 3 and 4 and. And that's how that'll work. So the final chorus, once again, same melody as the first chorus, but the difference is that we have that left hand dotted quarter note rhythm underneath. And I just want to point out a couple of fingerings. So right here, we've got finger 5, which is really important if you're going to reach this low F right here. And that comes back a few times. And actually in this final chorus, what happens is you get the same pattern repeating over and over. You may have heard this on pop songs or the radio if you're super familiar with the song. They repeat the same lyrics over and over, and it gradually fades out, gets a little softer and a little bit softer. So let me start right at the beginning of that chorus so you can see how the fingering fits and the right hand and the left hand together, but then it's pretty much an exact repeat right until the end. So we have. Then this repeats. So on the final page of this, again, we just have an exact repeat of what we've just been playing. I'll just play it slowly for you so you get a sense for how that goes. Some slight variations in the rhythm, a few extra notes in the melody, but that bass pattern is the same, and the melody is just kind of winding down. So the final little bit of this is just the outro, and it's interesting because he ends on an E-flat chord, E-flat major, which turns our sad C minor song into a happy finish. But here's how this outro goes. So we've just got it really simple. This little squiggle here means to roll this chord. So you see that little squiggle there in front of these notes? So you play the bass note first, right? And one thing that I should also note here is that the upper right hand G is tied. So when you play this, that note holds, and then you roll the other ones. So I'll show you that one more time. When you do this, when you do a roll, just drop your hands into the keys one at a time, and then you get a nice comfortable sound rather than trying to, like that, be really relaxed in your hand. So here's that full outro. So I hope you've enjoyed learning Apologize with me today. I've certainly enjoyed teaching you. Be sure to check out my full performance video of Apologize, as well as other videos on our channel.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching Merriam's Online Academy. Check back here for more videos and don't forget to subscribe below.